Okay, let us start the class which I postponed in the morning. We are continuing with the type of diesel plant itself. We have started with the diesel plant. We have discussed the application of the diesel plant itself, and we have gone through the advantages and disadvantages of diesel plant itself. Now, what are the different types of diesel plant which we use? In the diesel plant itself, air first compressed to a high pressure and a very small valve. Generally, volumetric compression ratio is minimum 13 to 14, or it can be as high as 22. Means it is to be compressed to a very high degree, at which the hot water temperature is more than the self-ignition temperature of the fuel oil, which means in order to ignite the diesel or the fuel oil, the temperature of the compressed air after the compression should be more, so that the fuel oil ignites immediately and spontaneously, not by the action of any spark plug or any other medium. It's a self-ignition property, self-ignition phenomenon of the fuel oil. Fuel oil is sprayed inside the chamber by atomized form, and by the high temperature of the inside air, it quickly, immediately got ignited. Now, the combustion products now takes place doing work on the piston itself, and till the exhaust valve opens. So that, which means piston is being pressured by the combustion products, means the fumes are things, till the exhaust valve open. Then the combustion products expands during the work. Exhaust of the products then take place, at the end of which fresh air is again taken into the cylinder and the cycle itself. There is no spark plug. The fuel oil and spray burns in the hot compressed air, since a fuel engine, also known as a compression ignition, popularly known as compression ignition or CI engines, which means first we have to compress the air inside the cylinder to a very high ratio, so around 13 to 22, 13 is to 22, 1 is to 13 to 22, which makes the temperature of this compressed air much higher than that ignition temperature of the fuel oil. Then the fuel oil got sprayed inside the volume inside the chamber in the atomized form, which immediately burns and created and tries to expand, thus doing work on the piston. Still, the exhaust valve opens. Means excessive pressure created by the expansion of the the burned fuel will create a work on the piston work itself, and this work will continue until the piston reaches in a position for the exhaust of this valve, position of exhaust valve, where the exhaust valve opens. Then the product exhaust. Then at the end of which the fresh air again taken inside the cylinder, and the cycle thus repeats itself. There is no application of spark plug. This is to be ignited by its own, because its temperature of ignition is already reached by the high compression ratio of the air-fuel mixture itself. So the fuel partly spray burns in the hot compressed air. Hence, a fuel diesel engine is popularly known as compression ignition engine or so. The highlights. This is the, just 1 second. That is CI engine itself. Now, diesel engine can be 4-stroke, 2-stroke. Mostly now, all engines are 4-stroke, horizontal and vertical. That can be 4-stroke mostly. Now, it is as per the government's norms. Mostly all engines are 4-stroke. The horizontal, vertical, single engine, and multiple cylinder. All is possible. Naturally aspired and supercharged. Actually, this is actually made as per your application itself. Now, some of the silent features now we are discussing the general layout of the compression ignition in itself. The cross section of the air-cooled IC engines with principal parts now given in the figure, given in the following figure itself. That is given in. What is the first of all? This is the, what is the engine? It is the main component of the plant. It is the main component of the plant and directly coupled to the generator itself. That is the engine itself. What is the engine? What the different constituents of engine? First, this is the engine cylinder itself. From here, 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 and this side, these are the engine cylinders. Now, this is the piston. This whole matter is the piston itself. And this is the inlet port operating by a valve. It's the inlet valve, and this is the inlet port itself. The valve opens from this cavity. This is the cavity where the valve sits, and it opens from the seats. It opens, and the inlet port, through the inlet port, the air starts coming in itself. And this is the exhaust valve, and this is the valve spring, and this is the exhaust port. When it is either the exhaust port will open or inlet port will open, but both can never be open. Initially, first the inlet port opens, the fresh air draws inside the cylinder, then it is compressed up to 13 to 22 compression ratio. Then fuel is inserted, injected inside the cylinder, and it is burned by the high temperature air inside, and thus creates the automatic burning of the fuel itself, and it creates the necessary work over the piston itself. The piston thus, by the action of the fuel pressure, burnt fuel pressure starts coming up, and ultimately reaches a position where the exhaust valve opens. Then the fume will go out from this area, and next it reaches a position from where the inlet port is opened and air comes in, and it is compressed again. This is the piston of the engine. This is the connecting rod. At the other end, there is a pin which connects the connecting rod with the crank itself, and which is the crank here, this one. And crank is fixed over the crankshaft, which has different cams over which different cylinders are acting. Generally, the car engines are like 4-cylinder or 4-cylinder, 3-cylinder engines are there. Even 6-cylinder engines are also available as per the demand requirement. Now, next, what comes the diesel engine? What is the power plant system? This is the initial portion of the plant itself. This is the initial portion of the engine itself. Now here, in the power plant first, this is the air compression itself. This is the air compression itself, and there is a compressed air bottle, where after the compressing, this particular up to the required ratio, it is compressed in the air is compressed inside the bottle itself. Then it goes into the directly to the full fuel filter itself, so that fuel got injected here, and that is the fuel tank, which is filled up with fuel, and it goes inside the fuel filter, and thus it goes through the fuel, inside the fuel filter from here. This is the fuel filter itself. This area, this is the fuel filter, and here it goes there inside the fuel filter itself. And from the filter, it went to the fuel injection pump itself, which is injected here, and from the pump, and from the pump, it goes to the heat exchanger, cooling tower, and fuel tanks. All these places are fuel injected feed by different area, and the pump is taken from the different area itself. Next, there is a surge tank for jacket of water pump, where it is heat exchanger is being cooled, and which from where it goes to the cooling tower, which actually cool the whole atmosphere, and thus this is go back to the original position itself. Now, let us discuss in detail what is the air intake system. It conveys fresh air through louvers and air filter that moves, start, etc., causing wear of the engine. Supercharger, if needed, is generally driven by engine itself, and it augments the power output of the engine. What it means is the air intake system should have two louvers, means that is inlet pumps, and air filter. Air filter controls the darts and other impurities which may come inside the with the air itself, and it prevents it there, and only the fresh air allows to go inside it. And this start, if somehow goes inside the engine, it will caught wear of the engine itself. Supercharger, if it is fitted, generally driven by the engine itself by its another power, and it augments the power output of the engine. Supercharger is generally item we should discuss later, which will increment the power output of the engine itself. Supercharger, which augments the power output of the engine. Next, exhaust system. Now, it discharges the engine exhaust to the atmosphere. First is the intake, next is the exhaust. There is exhaust the engine to the atmosphere itself. The exhaust manifold connects the engine, connects the engine or cylinder and exhaust outlet to the exhaust pipe, which is provided with a muffler or silencer, and to reduce pressure in the exhaust line and eliminate most of the noise which may resulting gases are discharged directly to the atmosphere itself. Resulting in gases are discharged directly to the atmosphere. The exhaust pipe should have flexible tubing system to take up the effects of expansion due to high temperature and also isolate the exhaust system of the engine. So there are 3 points. The exhaust pipe should have flexible tubing system, not with hard pipes to take up the effect of expansion due to high temperature and also isolate the exhaust system from the engine vibration itself. So, the important points are here. First of all, what is the exhaust system? Here, engine discharges all the burnt fuel in this system, and from the system it is spread to the atmosphere. It connects the engine cylinder and exhaust outlet, engine cylinder exhaust outlets to the exhaust pipe, which is to be provided by a silencer to reduce pressure on the exhaust pipe and alleviate most of the noise, which may result in the gas are charged through directly to the atmosphere itself. The exhaust should have flexible tubing system to take up the effect of expansion due to high temperature and also isolates the exhaust system from the engine vibration, so that the exhaust pipe is not a hard pipe or hard or fixed pipe. It is the flexible pipe. It is to be flexible tubing. It is to be take up the effect of expansion due to high temperature and also isolate the exhaust system from the engine itself. Isolate the engine. So what is that? Flexible tubing system is required. The main reason there will be additional expansion in the pipe due to the high temperature of the exhaust, and it is also isolate the exhaust system from the engine vibration to a certain extent itself. So what we have here, diesel engine, it is the outlet, the exhaust manifold, means there is the chamber. Exhaust manifold is nothing but a chamber where all the exhaust from the engine accumulates and then goes to the expansion joint, and this goes to the silencer and then out. Silencer is expanding the fluid to a considerable extent because it's under high pressure due to the high compression ratio inside the cylinder. It releases the compression to a considerable extent so that its noise released and then gases that goes out from it. There is some scope of waste heat utilization itself from the diesel engine exhaust by some waste heat boiler. By installing a waste heat boiler to rise low pressure steam which can be used for any process. So, or for generating electricity itself. So, some exhaust of the diesel engine, which is this fuel burn gas, it is used for installing a heat boiler for heating purpose of heat boiler, where to rise low pressure steam to a certain extent, which can be used for other, say for purification purpose, from washing purpose or something like this. So the fuel outlet for fuel gas outlet, which has high temperature, which can be utilized for boiling a certain type of a certain amount of water, which can be used for other purposes like washing the clothes or cleaning any areas like this. The hot exhaust, or in fact also for generating electricity is also possible. The hot exhaust must also be utilized to heat. The hot exhaust must also be utilized to heat water in a gas to water heat exchanger, which can also be in the form of a water coil induced in the exhaust muffler itself. It hot exhaust, but how they are transitioning the heat water to a gas to water heat exchanger, and which can be in the form of a water coil installed in the exhaust muffler. So we have a water coil, and this gas to water, the gas is at high temperature passes surrounding this water coil itself, which can be heated there, and it is also installed in the exhaust muffler. It can be used for air heating itself. It can also be used for air heating when the exhaust pipe is surrounded by the whole air jacket itself. So there are so many applications we can do. We can mainly make steam out of this exhaust fume, which is at high temperature and pressure, and we can use this thing for cleaning, for making electricity, even for washing clothes, etc. This high exhaust can be used for heat water in a gas to water heat exchanger, which can be in the form of a water coil installed in the exhaust muffler, and this waste gas goes surrounding it and get it heated to make it boiling, or maybe or it can be used for air heating itself. What is the fuel system now? The fuel oil may be delivered at the plant site by trucks, the railway wagons, barges, oil tankers, mostly the oil tankers itself. And sometimes for a small scale, you can use by truck by using the container of the fuel over the truck, or you can have like LPG-like cylinder, which is filled up with diesel oil, can be moved by the truck for the easy convenience. Sometimes the railway wagons are transformed in form of a diesel oil tankers and barges, and so we can use so many methods of developing the tanker itself. And uploading faculty delivers oil to the main storage tank, from where oil is pumped to the small surface tank storage tanks known as engine tank. And unloading faculty delivers oil in the main storage oil tank, from where oil is pumped to the surface storage tank known as engine day tanks, which stored oil approximately 8 hours of operation. This coil heated by hot air or steam reduce oil viscosity to reduce pumping power itself. First of all, we have to bring the oil to the pumping station, to the power plant by means of truck, wagon, barges, and unloaded it to the main storage tanks, from which oil is pumped to the small surface storage tanks known as engine day tanks, which stores oil for approximately 8 hours of operation. The coils heated by generally 8 hours of operation. It is you should have a stored. It should not be die off before that. Coils heated by water, hot water, and steam, then to reduce oil viscosity to remain pumping power. So it is surrounded by this storage of oil is surrounded by hot water coils, which will reduce the viscosity of the oil, and oil should be more liquid form to return, remaining the pumping power itself. Because this coil is viscous enough, then if oil is viscous and thick, it may not be pumped easily. So what is the fuel storage in a diesel engine plant? The bulk storage here. It is brought from the tank, from the train, or from the fuel tanker, or from the trucks carrying the fuel tank, and it is opened. It is stored by pumping it here. Next, the full unloading line, the fuel pumps, it is brought here through these valves are there. It can be opened and closed as per the requirement. Here is also a valve, here is also a valve, here is also a valve. This is the fuel oil pumps. Here, these pumps are pumping the fuel and by opening the pump itself. And food unloading line. And for unloading, you can directly unload it here, so that there is, without before storing, it is directly unloading here, and it can start working itself. Then there is strainers, means some purified nets which through which oil will pass, which will clean out the oil totally to prevent any sort of slack formation or like this, anything like that. Next comes the meters, which will show you the amount of fuel we are pumping, and then goes to the depth tanks, and then goes to the engine itself. So here from main storage tank, you bring it to the dead tank through so many valves and with a measuring pump and through a strainer itself. Well, the fuel injection is the main operation or heart of electric diesel engine. Engine driving electric generator have less speed, has lower speed, and simple combustion chamber that promote good mixing of fuel and air. The air fuel injection system performs the following action: fill up the oil, meter the correct quantity of the fuel to be injected. So what they do first, filter the oil. That's one of the most important sides. The fuel should be pure. There should not be any dirt, any moisture, any scale inside. Filter the oil. So you have to first filter the oil yourself, meter the correct quantity of the fuel to be injected, and time the injection process. Correct quantity of oil you have to find out or meter so that it can be perfectly injected to your process itself. Next, time the injection process. Injection process is taking some certain time, then regulate the fuel supply itself. Regulate the fuel supply by means of this valve itself. Time of the injection process we have to assume and make according to the requirement. Secure fine atomization of fuel oil and distribute the atomized fuel property in the combustion chamber itself. Now, oil is atomized either by air blast or by pressure jet. Oil is atomized by air blast or pressure jet. Atomized means oil is to be divided into fine particles of oil, which can be easily burned by means of the high compression ratio of the CI engine itself. It can be made atomized by air blast, means high pressure air or high pressure jet itself. You can jet the oil is like under high pressure, which will just divide the oil into atomized particle itself. Then early diesel engines used oil sometimes in blast fuel atomization, where compressed air at about 70 bars were used to atomize as well as to inject the fuel oil. So earlier, what happened? Compressed air generally automation is used compressed air about 70 bars. And they are used 70 times more than the atmospheric air. And they are used to atomize as well as to inject the fuel oil. So this air first atomize the fuel and then injects the fuel. But they are doing both the cases. For this air, an air compressor in the storage tank is also required. So that to compress the air, you need the air compressor. To store the oil, we need the separate storage tank is there, which becomes expensive. So another compression, another storage tank is expensive. If the pressure jet atomization, the fuel force is forced to flow through spray nozzles at a pressure about 100 bar. So you need a good amount of compression. So it should have spray the oil in terms of around 100 bar or so, by means of around 100 bar or so. This is known as solid injection, which is more common itself. The solid injection system may be classified as follows. Then, common rail injection system, individual pump pressure system, and distributor system. So pressure jet atomization, the fuel is forced through this pressure nozzle, the pressure about 100 kg. So we have to atomize this fuel. Atomizer means at fuel is injected through by an atomic form and forced through the nozzles at pressure at as high as 100 bar itself. It is a solid injection almost, which is more common. Solid injection may be classified maybe like this: common rail injections, individual pump selection, and distributor system itself. Now let us discuss with common rail injection system. Just a minute. Now, common rail injection system. A single pump supplies fuel under high pressure to a fuel header or common rail, which is given in the following picture. What is given here? First of all, the single pump supplies under high pressure through a fuel header or common rail. What is that? Here it is the fuel from day tank. It's a day tank, means for the day, this tank is used because it is then filled up, then only then when it is required for the day. Next, from the day tank, it goes to the common rail or header. That is a header, or it's a chamber, you can say, which acts as a supplier of a number of lights itself. There is a high pressure pump inside it, from the pump itself, which pumps the pump drives the camshaft itself. Now, fuel lines are sent to all the cylinders. There may not be one cylinder. Here you are supposed to have 4 different cylinders. And from here it is the mechanically actuated flow valve, spray valve. Here we are spraying the water itself to control the wedge and through the camshaft and camshaft wedge control. It is just moving it to get the required work done like this. So what is here? We have a single pump will pump to the fuel header system. The high pressure in the header forces the fuel. Each of the nozzle is located in the cylinders. Cylinders may be one nozzle, maybe multiple nozzles. Cylinders may be one, maybe multiple. And the proper type of mechanical operated valve by means of push forward and rock around allows the fluid to cater the cylinder through the nozzle. So pump is to be timed in that way. It's a mechanically operated pump, which is allows the fluid to enter into the come into the cylinder, although through the nozzle itself. The amount of fuel entering the cylinder is regulated by varying the length of the push rod stroke. The amount of fuel in the cylinder is regulated by varying the length of the push rod stroke. What is push rod stroke? This is the. It is not shown in the figure. But actually it is mechanically actuated full spray valve itself. The fuel from the line comes here sprayed inside the cylinder itself. And valve is opened by the wedge control valve itself. And it is being controlled by the camshaft itself. Camshaft, according to the camshaft position, the valve will spray or will not spray. Next, individual pump injection system. Each cylinder can be provided with one pump and one injector. The pump directly feeds oil to the cylinder, meters the oil, controls the injection timing. The nozzle becomes a periphery outlet valve actuated by fuel air mixture. So here what we have, we don't have any chamber like which is called header or common rail. Here in the earlier example, we are spraying the fuel first inside the common rail, then which itself sprayed it into the different cylinders, different line injection lines itself. But what we can do without using this header or common rail, we can we have individual pump for each cylinder, and each pump cylinder has one cylinder each. The pump directly feeds the oil to the fuel and meters the oil and control the injection pump. The pump itself feeds oil, first of all, one thing, meters the oil, means amount of oil being flows through, and control the injection system timing itself. Nozzle contains a delivery valve actuated by fuel pressure. The nozzle always contains a delivery valve actuated by fuel oil pressure itself. So according to the oil pressure you have maintained inside the cylinder, this delivery valve is being opened and closed. It is high, it is not, it is closed. After a certain limit, it becomes high, it is closed, and after maximum burning, this valve pressure will less and it will open and inject fresh valve, which will fresh oil, which is being atomized and mixes inside the air itself. The distributor system. In the system, the fuel is metered at a central point. A pump pressurized meters the fuel and times the injection. Then, first of all, the distribution and the fuel is then really distributed to the cylinders in correct firing order by cam operated poppet valve, which open to admit oil to the fluid system nozzle itself. So what is happening here? In this system, the fuel is metered at a certain point, central point. So fuel is metered, but not individually, but at a certain central point where all the fuels are being supplied and according to the metered amount. A pump pressurized meters the fuel times the injection. The fuel is then distributed to the cylinders in correct firing order by cam-operated poppet valves, which open to admit oil to the nozzle, fuel nozzle. Fuel pump. Next comes the fuel pump. What is the constituents of the fuel pump itself? It is consisted of a plunger, means a prism-like item, which is supposed to be driven, like a not a prism, but a cylinder-like item of small thickness, which is driven by a cam. This is there is a cam system is there, which engaged and which eccentric with the eccentric operating blocks. It engaged the different plunger of different fuel system at different time. But all the injection, all the blocks are fixed on a round rotary shaft at different position and at different angles throughout the like this. Now, the plunger is driven by cam and poppet mechanism, which controls in reciprocate inside the barrel. A vertical groove in the plunger itself leads to a helical groove. First, there is the vertical groove next to a helical groove. Helical groove means the groove is in the form of helix, means in the form of wire which is at an angle with the horizontal itself and its own round is a certain shaft. Then this groove will take this form of helix itself with certain angle with the bottom, say for right hand helix. When the plunger is at the bottom, the supply port, your port and spill port are uncovered. And what happens? The supply port and spill port both are uncovered and low pressure filtered oil is then forced into the barrel itself. As the plunger moves up, the port Y and SP are closed. Support port Y and spill port SP both are closed and oil gets compressed, lifting the delivery valve D to enter the injector nozzle through the passage P. The plunger moves up either the ports. When the plunger moves up further, this port SP will get connected to the fuel at its top through the vertical groove, releasing a certain drop in pressure and a delivery of the valve falls. Falls back to the twist switch to the spring force itself. Next, the plunger is rotated by the rock R operated by governor itself. By rotating the plunger, the position of the helical groove relative to the supply ports can be varied. The length of the stroke during which the fuel is delivered is varied, and so that the quantity of fuel delivered to the engine also varies accordingly. So first, what we are doing? First, we have one a plunger-like substance. Plunger is nothing but, it's not shown clearly here. Plunger is nothing but a certain prismatic block which moves up and down inside the cylinder and open and close the valve, different valves itself. And this plumber gets its motion, gets its movement, or gets its instruction, you can show it by means of cam and package mechanism, which reciprocate inside a barrel. In this valve is also it's reciprocate inside the barrel and is driven by cam and tappet mechanism itself. A vertical groove in the plunger leads to the helical groove. the delivery valve lifts off its seat under oil pressure against the spilling force S. The delivery valve lifts off its seal under oil pressure against the spring force. When the plunger at the bottom, the supply port Y and the speed ports are uncovered. Plunger wheels at the bottom, supply ports are speed ports uncovered. Low pressure filtered oil is forced into the bottle. As the plunger moves up, ports SY and SP are closed and oil get compressed, lifting the delivery valve Y in order to it to enter the injection cylinder, injection nozzle through the pressure P. When the plunger moves further, the port SP get connected to fuel at the top and getting the sudden drop in pressure, delivery valve forms. So what is S? Back to the C. The plunger rotated by the rack R. Plunger rotated by rack, here. And covered by governor. By rotating the plunger to the position of the left chemical group, it is relative to the support Y is to be can be varied. The length of stroke during which the oil is delivered is varied, and so the quantity of fuel delivered to the engine also varies accordingly. So this is the overall shape of a fuel pump itself, showing the different position itself. This is the rack. Rack is being can move in a rectilinear path, and thus it rotates with the gears form of the plunger itself. Then 5 minutes of rotation of the gear, there is a plunger here, and supply and the supply port here. And this is the barrel P. Here supply port SP, supply Y, and the first is supply to the engine. Then plunger L, then plunger L, then rack R. This is the plunger here, this is the rack here. The spill ports SP is here and supply port S is Y is here. This is the barrel itself, and this is the delivery valve of the barrel, and this delivery valve is being controlled by the spring with the pressure adjusted here to this passage itself. Now, next let us go to the fuel injector itself. It consists of a nozzle valve NV. This is a nozzle or nozzle valve NV here. This is a valve and this is the nozzle itself. And this nozzle valve is held on its seat by a spring force. Or if there is a spring force here, this nozzle valve is held on its seat by which of the spring force. Spring force we have. Spring force acting through the spindle E. A filling pin FP at the top indicates filling pin FP. What is that? Filling pin FP at the top. This is the filling pin. This full plunger type itself. What is function? This filling pin itself at the top indicates whether valve is working properly or not. The high pressure oil from the fuel pump enters the injector through the pressure B and passes B and C and lifts the nozzle valve to admit oil into the fuel nozzle. High pressure oil from the fuel pump enters the injector through the passage P and C. So what is that? The passage P, and this is the passage P, and these are the two passages. From here it goes to this passage B and C, and as it lifts the nozzle and lifts the nozzle valve, we admit oil into the fuel nozzle so that it injects oil to the cylinder in fine atomized way. So the washer pump enters the injector through the passage B and C, lifts the nozzle valve to admit oil and inject the oil into the cylinder. As the oil pressure falls, the nozzle valve comes back to the set under pressure spring force and fuel supply is cut off. Any leakage of fuel accumulated above the returns to the fuel tank through the passage A. Various types of nozzles are using CI engines, used in CI engine, but the most common types are this single orifice, multi-orifice, and twin orifice as shown here. Orifice is single, there's only one way. There is a multiple. There is 1, 2 is shown here. There are other maybe fuel passage outside, fuel passage outside. And it's spindle nozzle shown here. It is shed flow blocked by less by carbon particles and thus less access to metal. Okay, let us finish here. From next class, we will go for the cooling system.